You sleep 8, even 9 hours, but you wake up tired. Some days your body aches. Other days your mind feels like it's wading through mud. What's going on? What if your fatigue wasn't from a lack of sleep, but from a brain that never really rested? Welcome to Psychiatry Simplified. I'm Dr. Sanil Rege, psychiatrist and educator. Today we're talking about one of the most misunderstood symptoms in mental health, fatigue, but not the kind fixed by rest. I'm talking about cognitive fog, heaviness, and a wired but tired feeling that blood tests can't explain. In this video, we'll unpack the brain-based causes of fatigue, explore how disrupted sleep architecture, especially non-REM and REM, plays a role, and how inflammation and dopamine affect your energy levels. It's a kind of science that could change the way you think about tiredness for yourself or your patients. I feel tired all the time. This is one of the most common complaints in clinical practice, and when routine tests come back, normal people are left confused because it's not just physical tiredness, it's mental fog, emotional heaviness, and sometimes even a strange inner agitation. Let's start by breaking down two main types of fatigue. Cognitive fatigue, sometimes expressed as brain fog. This can show up as trouble concentrating, slow thinking, or forgetfulness. Physical fatigue, heaviness in the body, pain or stiffness, and feeling like you're dragging yourself through the day. Sometimes they occur together, and that's where things get really complex. Let's start off from sleep. First, you might be sleeping, but your brain might not be resting. One reason: disrupted non-REM sleep. This is the deep restorative stage of sleep. But what disrupts it? REM, hyperarousal. This is where the brain stays stuck in a high alert mode, often seen in PTSD, anxiety disorders, even ADHD, or just chronic stress. The result: you don't go deep enough into non-REM, you wake up feeling like you ran a marathon. Let me just take a moment here to tell you that we've got extensive information in sleep, both on the Academy for Clinicians, but also on PsycScene.com, where you can read the articles on ADHD and sleep and the neuropsychiatry of sleep, because it forms such a crucial part of addressing mental health issues. But besides sleep, there's another layer: inflammation, chronic low-grade inflammation from stress, trauma, infection, or poor sleep can reduce dopamine transmission in key brain areas. And when dopamine drops, so does your motivation, clarity, and your brain's ability to shift between tasks. This is what leads to cognitive fatigue. This is a big reason for the brain fog feeling and why people with autoimmune conditions, chronic fatigue, or even long COVID often experience it. But here's something really interesting. Most people think of fatigue as just tiredness. But what if we've been looking at it all wrong? Fatigue isn't just a lack of energy. It's a form of pain. It activates the same brain regions as, in physical and emotional pain, the insula and the anterior cingulate cortex. Why does this matter? Because, like pain, fatigue serves a purpose. It's not a weakness, it's a protective signal. Your brain is regulating effort, often before your body gives out. Some researchers argue fatigue comes from central command, a top-down brain process monitoring perceived exertion. Others point to feedback from the body. But the truth is, it's both a constant negotiation between your expectations, your physiology, and your survival drive. That's why chronic pain conditions like fibromyalgia or migraine are so exhausting. You're not just managing pain. You're constantly burning cognitive energy to override it. Fatigue isn't imagined. It's the cost of endurance. So, where does psychiatry come in? Here are a few key disorders that are associated with or can amplify fatigue. First, melancholic depression. This is marked by a loss of energy and initiative. Even getting out of bed feels like lifting concrete blocks. For many individuals, they can feel fatigued and wired at the same time due to the agitation that occurs in melancholic depression. 2 ADHD people think it's hyperactivity, but actually it's mental exhaustion from constant redirection and effort regulation. PTSD and trauma histories here. The brain stays on high alert even during sleep. Fatigue thus becomes a survival strategy. Generalized anxiety. Excessive mental noise drains resources and leads to a paradox. You feel wired but tired. But here's something. Counterintuitive, some people with fatigue don't feel slow. They feel restless. This daytime agitation, pacing, irritability, and attention is a form of dysregulated arousal, and this dysregulated arousal can occur in all of the conditions I mentioned before. It's the nervous system swinging between fight, flight, and collapse. So you might see this in bipolar, disorder, ADHD, PTSD, or depression. So even though the brain is busy, it's not being productive, it's just stuck in overdrive. So here's a helpful way of thinking about it. When the brain senses threat from stress, trauma, or inflammation, it may enter energy conservation mode. Not because you're lazy, not because you're not trying, but because the brain is trying to protect itself by reducing dopamine, motivation, and effort. It's choosing safety over action. So what can you do? The first thing to recognize is that fatigue is a signal. It's telling us something's out of balance, neurologically, psychologically, or both. It's your body saying something needs to change. So instead of asking, how do I push through this? The better question is, what is my system protecting me from? That's the shift. This is where the real change begins. As clinicians, we need to assess sleep architecture, not just sleep duration. Screen for psychiatric disorders such as depression, ADHD, PTSD, and trauma. Rule out organic causes. Consider inflammatory and neuroimmune causes. Rule out endocrine disorders and validate that fatigue is real, even when labs look normal. So let me summarize all of this for you. If you're still tired, even after 8 hours of sleep, then it's time to ask a different question. Is my brain stuck in survival mode? Because when the body rests, but the brain stays in high alert, fatigue becomes your baseline, and in that state, no amount of rest feels like recovery. So the goal isn't just more sleep, it's to understand what your brain is protecting you from. So if this video reframed how you think about fatigue, hit the like button and subscribe for more insights where neuroscience meets real life. I'm Dr. Sunil Righe, and this is Psychiatry Simplified. I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Until then, stay curious.